Joshua Farm started here in Allison Hill in the year 2006. Explorations to begin it first started in 2005. I had been a member of a CSA in York County and was dreaming about farming, and I went to a conference to talk about these farming ideas with people and came across somebody who had an urban farm in Pittsburgh, and it really clicked for me. Wow, urban farming is the best of both worlds. And so I got this bee in my bonnet that I wanted to do an urban farm. And one day when I was walking around Allison Hill, I discovered this big field that was flat and sunny and fenced on three sides, and I thought this would be a perfect spot for an urban farm. I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I went down to the courthouse and figured out that this land was owned by the Harrisburg School District. It had actually been the athletic field for Edison Junior High School, a school that's just a block away. And when the school closed in the 1970s, the field was also put on the market for sale and had been sitting here basically unused since that time. So I started the process of asking the school district if I could start a farm here, which at that point, in 2005 was still a pretty novel idea, particularly here in Harrisburg. The school district basically said, well, we'll think about it, but we know that you'll need to work with youth and you'll need to be a nonprofit organization. They wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get rich off of this. And about that time, I got a call from Kirk Hallett at Joshua Group, and Joshua Group had been working with youth in the Allison Hill neighborhood. But at that point, as the organization in Joshua Group was growing, they were really hoping to develop some micro-enterprise kinds of endeavors so that the youth could learn some job skills and possibly provide a source of income for Joshua Group so that it wouldn't be dependent on grants and donations. So Kirk contacted me and basically said, hey, let's work together. You've got a vision, I've got youth. So let's partner. So that's kind of how Joshua Farm started. That's how Joshua Farm started. We employed youth from Joshua Group from the very beginning. The first summer in 2006, we had 3 kids working, and we got a grant from M&T Bank to support them. They worked part-time, about 12 hours a week, and we started our CSA with about 12 members.
So how did you end up here at Joshua Farm?
Well, I'm a part of the Joshua Group, and they told me about the farm, and Miss Miller, she gave me an application about it. So I signed an application, and I started working here after my freshman year at Bishop McDevitt, and it's going pretty good so far.
So have you learned a lot this summer?
Yes, I've learned a lot working on the farm. I learned how to plant, learned how to harvest things. I learned about new bugs and vegetables that I never thought were real, and I tasted a lot of new things.
Is it, do you ever talk about it when people ask what you do?
Yeah, I tell them about the things that we grow and how we harvest things and what type of farm it is.
And over the years, we've continued to grow and add different elements of infrastructure to the farm. We've been aided by grants from various places. We got a huge grant from the Lowe's Charitable and Educational Foundation that enabled us to put up new fencing, put in an outhouse, a greenhouse, some plantings, and get a water source for the field, which was really helpful. At that point, until that point, our water had been a hose from my house. So it was a hose that went across an alley, and we had our whole irrigation system hooked up to it. But of course, kids would come along the street and be like, "Oh, hose! What happens if I unscrew this? Whoa, water runs everywhere!" And what joy is that? So it was not an ideal situation, and we looked into some other options, including getting a well or tapping into a fire hydrant. But we did end up getting a grant so that we could have a simple line or a simple water hydrant here in the field. And then we also ended up partnering with Messiah College and some of the students from the Collaboratory organization to install a rainwater collection system on the greenhouse. And the way that works is there are gutters on the greenhouse, and the greenhouse is about 1,000 square feet. So it diverts the rainwater into a buried barrel where there's a sump pump, and then the pump pumps the water uphill into 2 storage tanks that total about 4,300 gallons of storage capacity. And from there we can use it to irrigate, just through a gravity system, the upper part of the field. As the farm grows, we've gotten a little bit more careful about how we plant things and develop some more systems. We haven't had quite the amount of surplus this year that we've had other years, but we do still, have sometimes lots of vegetables. And at this point we have a good relationship with the soup kitchen at St. Francis Church. And one of the things that we're trying to teach people is that vegetables don't have to look perfect to taste good. I think the shareholders here have definitely learned that lesson and are grateful for funky looking tomatoes and odd green beans and peppers with small blemishes. On the other hand, we want to also help people understand that organic agriculture can produce the same quality of food and even better quality than conventional agriculture can. So we only use organic methods here, and for us that means crop rotation, using a lot of cover crops and compost that we make here, and some also that we buy from other places. We use only organic fertilizers. Mostly we get those from a local company in Lancaster County. We don't use any GM or genetically modified seeds here. We also provide some beneficial borders for butterflies and bees and other kinds of insects that are helpful. And we don't use any synthetic pesticides or herbicides here. So we try to see the farm as a system and figure out how we can help the elements of the system. We encourage diversity in the farm. Even if we do have all the broccoli planted in one section, we have different kinds of broccoli, and next year we'll plant something else there. So we're trying to make it all work together and let the seeds and the plants do their thing. This year the CSA has about 42 members, and it runs for 22 weeks from the end of May to the end of October. We have tried to keep the CSA affordable, and so by doing that, or the ways that we do that are, we offer scholarships flat out for those who have financial need. We also offer working shares, so for every hour that you work, you get $5 off the cost, and we have a number of families who don't pay anything because they are willing to come out and sweat in the heat of the summer and be part of the process of getting food to the table. We have plenty of other shareholders too that volunteer just for the fun of it because they enjoy it and want to expose their kids or just be part of the process, like I said. And then we also offer some additional scholarship money for those for whom the CSA membership would be prohibitive. We also have a farm stand on site, and that's another way that we're really trying to get fresh local produce into Allison Hill. So the farm stand, we sell produce from Joshua Farm, and then we also get produce from other local farms, and we sell that, particularly fruit, from Hollis Farm in Mechanicsburg. We accept the Farmers Market Nutrition Program vouchers, which is a program with Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture to help people who receive WIC benefits or low-income seniors get access